Hey guys, this insane year has continued, and I have been playing a little bit of catch-up ever since I got back from my holiday, because a bunch of games have come my way, including Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for the PC. PlayStation is continuing their PlayStation 4 and 5 publishing on the PC, and I couldn't be happier about that, especially as a Steam Deck owner. I actually downloaded this while I was on the road, so I was playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on my Steam Deck, and it handles just fine on the Steam Deck. It's amazing to see all of the carnage, all of the nuts and bolts flying around, and all of the incredible zipping in between dimensions that you get to do in this game. I did choose to load it onto the SSD and not onto the SD card because I wanted the hits to the data storage to be as quick as possible, and I think that was the right choice because it runs really well. I also checked this out in ultra widescreen on my desktop PC, and it's staggering. It's beautiful. I played with some of the settings. You know, it's a PC game, so that's half the game, is you're tinkering with settings to try to get it to run as best as you can on the hardware that you have. And I had it running at sort of high quality, at a higher frame rate with ray tracing off, and I put DLSS on, and it just was amazing. I missed the ray tracing. I tried it with ray tracing for a little bit, but it slowed everything down a little bit. But I love this game. I think it's one of the best Ratchet and Clank games, and this is a series that has always delivered right from the very beginning. I still prefer the PS4 Ratchet and Clank 1 remake that PlayStation and Insomniac did, and I really hope that they bring that to the PC. I know that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart hasn't been received as warmly as something like God of War or even Days Gone or the Spider-Man games have, or Returnal, and I think that's partially to do because Ratchet and Clank has never been a PC property. It's always only ever been on the PlayStation consoles, and I do hope that Insomniac and Sony decide to go back in the catalog a little bit and bring PC gamers some of the previous games. That would be awesome. But as it stands, this adventure with Ratchet and Clank and Rivet and Kit is phenomenal. I love all the quirky side characters. I even enjoy the hacking mechanic a little bit more this time than I did when I played it on the PS5. Now, I will say that the game is preferable on the PlayStation 5. It's a PS5 showcase experience, especially if you turn everything on and have it running at the fastest frame rate. It's beautiful, but it's pretty phenomenal on PC. I've heard a couple of murmurs that people have had some issues with the game running on their PCs, but I haven't really had too much trouble at all on mine. One crash on the Steam Deck, one crash on the desktop, but honestly, it's been running really, really well. Nixies did the port on this game just like they did with the two Spider-Man games, and I think they did a wonderful job, and this is a wonderful game. I'm going to give Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for the PC a 9 out of 10. Another game that I played on the Steam Deck and also on my desktop PC and streamed some is Baldur's Gate 3, and this game has really impressed me. You can feel the authenticity and the love of Dungeons & Dragons and the respect and the relationship that Larry and the developers have with the fan base, and also that sense of responsibility. It's all there. This is a game that just goes off in a bunch of different directions with the characters, and they get into conversations and conflict with all kinds of different types of characters. And every choice you make, you feel has weight. There's a moment behind it. There's a maturity to it. The threaded, crafted storytelling. And I haven't seen very much of the game. I've probably seen about 5 or 10% of what Baldur's Gate has got to offer, and I am just blown away. I saw a bard telling stories and concocting this giant poem. I saw a woman up on a hilltop making up a really cool song, which will probably be at the Game Awards next year. And I've gotten into battles with goblins, and I've tried to calm down a couple of warring races, and I'm off on different missions and stuff, and it just is such a cool game. It's a great blending of turn-based, strategically focused combat and also real-time exploration and a lot of open-ended free-form mechanics, so you can run around in a ton of different directions and kind of choose your own path, but then you've got core objectives scattered across the map, and it's up to you and your ingenuity and your party's connection to each other to solve these challenges that you meet along the way. And not everything has to end in bloodshed. And one thing that is absolutely true, it's what I heard about Baldur's Gate 3, is you want to save a lot. You want to save before you get into battles because the autosaves aren't particularly generous in this game, and sometimes you will walk into the wrong room and get slaughtered. I was getting slaughtered by a bunch of spiders, and they're sort of creepy crawly hench spiders, and they just caught me. They wiped me right out. It was excruciating to watch because it was almost kind of in slow motion. But the game makes you think, it makes you smile, and it makes you appreciate what good craftsmanship in this industry is all about.
First you urge grace, then you speak truth. You surprised me twice over.
I can't score Baldur's Gate 3 in totality by any means, but what I've played so far, this is like a 9.5 out of 10. It's unbelievable. And the other game that I've been streaming and playing this week is Remnant 2. I checked this out on the Steam Deck as well, and it runs very well. And I started to stream it on the PlayStation 5 and had a great time with it. It's kind of like a mashup between stuff you would see in a Last of Us in terms of this dystopian kind of world, all of this destructive beauty all around you. It's also got a Gears of War aesthetic, and it also plays a little bit like a Destiny fused with a Soulsborne type game. So it's a roguelike role-playing game. It's very action focused. It's about projectile weaponry, although you do get some cool melee weapons. There's magic powers and crazy cool looking armor and all kinds of awesome abilities and maze-like procedurally generated worlds for you to explore. A complex, mysterious story to kind of rip apart and dig into with lots of different characters scattered all over the place. The enemies are a little underwhelming, a little generic for my taste. They're kind of like plant-like creations, this fusion of plant and animal. Reminded me a little bit of that Annihilation movie from a few years back, that Natalie Portman movie, which is awesome if you haven't seen that movie. So it's got a creepy overtone, but there's a lot of repetition with the character types, and also we've seen the move sets and the kind of conflict that these characters get into many times in video games in the past. It certainly, in terms of its enemy types, doesn't compete with the best stuff that we've seen in Gears of War or in Destiny, but it's still fun to wipe them out or to dodge them. I haven't played any multiplayer yet. Everything that I've played has been in single player, and it does get challenging, and it's a roguelite, so you've got to get to those checkpoints and save and replenish, and so there's a big hunt for that, and lots of cool material for you to pick up, some weapons for you to find and upgrade and stuff. It's fun. It's a really fun game. It's not the sweetest or coolest looking PlayStation 5 game, I will definitely say that, but it runs very well on the Steam Deck. It's a really, really good fit on the Steam Deck, and it's still crazy fun on the PS5 for sure as well. I'm going to give what I've played of Remnant 2 so far an 8.5 out of 10. All right, you guys, there's tons of games still coming out. This is a crazy summer. I'm going to be streaming a lot over at twitch.tv/EPN, so find me there, and I'll be coming back here with reviews and thoughts and observations on all of this stuff. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you soon, and until then, play forever.